My name is Councilman James Solomon. I'll be the Master of Ceremonies for the press conference today. I'm very, very excited to be with you all because I think the bill that passed, the two bills that passed the City Council were historic. We now have a right for tenants across this city to have a level playing field, to have legal representation when they face eviction, if they face an illegal rent increase, if they face a failure to maintain the heat and the habitability of their homes. That will keep thousands of Jersey City residents in their homes, right? That will keep kids in their schools. It will keep community members in their neighborhoods. And that is the job. Our number one job as government is to serve those residents. In addition, we have passed the development fee ordinance, which is going to provide tens of millions of dollars to the city's Affordable Housing Trust Fund. That's going to include money for emergency rental assistance, money for housing rehabilitation, and money for the production and maintenance of affordable housing. And it couldn't have happened without the efforts of hundreds and hundreds of people across the city, many of whom are represented behind me. So first, I personal thank you to everyone who's here. Thank you all so much for everything you did to make this happen. Now I want to turn it over to Mayor Stephen Fulop, who endorsed the Right-to-Counsel and development fee ordinances at the very, very beginning, and this could not have happened without his leadership and efforts. Thank you, Mayor Fulop.
Thank you. I will be brief because I know that we are challenged by potential rain here. And there's quite a few people behind me that deserve a lot of credit for what's happened. But before I turn it over back to James, I just do want to thank the City Council for their leadership around the affordable housing crisis in this region and making Jersey City a true leader in attacking it. There's a lot of different aspects to this challenge. You talk about rent increases here. It has to do with market rate housing supply. It has to do with a lack of building in the region. It has to build with a lack of effective affordable housing policies. But in Jersey City, we are doing everything possible to confront that. You'd be hard-pressed to find another city that has done more. And despite the challenges, we are attacking it. From Bayfront on the other side of the city, that's been a $100 million investment, that's 35% affordable housing with 8,000 units, to the inclusionary zoning ordinance that we passed with the City Council last year. That's truly a model for New Jersey. It's not just a feel-good type of ordinance, it's an ordinance that's actually being implemented, unlike anywhere else in New Jersey, without the city giving tax abatements or additional incentives. Last year, the City Council did the first overlay zone, which was truly a new approach to attacking the affordability conversation in Jersey City. And despite headwinds, they passed it. And then here we are today with the Right-to-Counsel. And the council members, in particular, James Solomon, Youssef, and Frank, deserve a tremendous amount of credit for taking this from the beginning, organizing the community, and advocating for it and educating people around what this would cost. There were a lot of headwinds when this started, from people not understanding what it would cost, to the impact on rents, to the impacts on homeowners, and at each turn, they thoughtfully addressed those challenges. So I'm here today more in support of their work and just saying thank you for their leadership on the City Council. And it's been a long journey to get here, and congratulations to everybody involved. Thank you.
All righty. You know, as the mayor said, this is the next step in affordable housing policies, that the city passing the inclusionary zoning ordinance, the affordable housing overlay. There's really a sort of unique mix of affordable housing policies now in Jersey City under Mayor Fulop that I think are a great model for the state of New Jersey. I now want to introduce one of the co-sponsors of the legislation, without whose leadership none of this would be possible, Youssef Saleh, Councilman, Ward D, The Heights.
This is a huge deal, guys, and I am proud to stand before you today. The affordable housing crisis is real. It's not just in Jersey City, but across the entire country. This is the right step towards, and it's a substantive step towards making sure that we address the affordable housing crisis. We are leveraging one of our biggest strengths in the Jersey City Renaissance, which is the growth and development, and using it to impose a 1.5% de minimis development fee that 300 other municipalities have. And 80% of that money is going to go towards affordable housing. It's going to go to help landlords that keep their units affordable. It's going to go to help tenants in need. And then the other 20% is going to go towards helping tenants, the most vulnerable, the people that don't know their rights, the people that are the most at risk for eviction or most at risk for just being unhoused. And it's going to stop the problem from ever starting. And essentially, we will be able to fight those illegal evictions. As a city council member, we've seen time and time again where residents come to us and there are no resources to help them. They're locked out of their apartment, the heat is not on, their immigration status is being threatened. This will address that. This right to counsel legislation is historic. And there's something for everyone in this ordinance. It doesn't raise taxes, and it's not an underfunded government mandate, and that is a miracle in governmental policy. I want to thank my council colleagues, James Solomon and Councilman Gilmore, for working together to get it passed. I especially want to give a shout out to Councilman Danny Rivera and Councilwoman Amy DeGise, who is here today, who provided the fulcrum support we needed to get it over the finish line. And their critiques ultimately made this ordinance stronger. Last but not least, and most important of all, I want to thank Mayor Stephen Fulop for his support on this. He's shepherded responsible growth. He has balanced the Jersey City Renaissance by putting more affordable units than any other administration in my lifetime. And he passed the inclusionary zoning ordinance and the affordable housing overlay, and the feather in the cap is this right to counsel legislation. Thank you.
Alrighty. It is now my pleasure to introduce another co-sponsor of the bill, and exact same thing. This literally would not have happened without his leadership and support. The councilman from Ward F, Frank Educational Gilmore.
Thank everyone for coming out. I do want to take this time to thank my council colleagues for working tirelessly to see this legislation come to fruition. I remember when I took office, I had this fancy to-do list with a bunch of things on it. And to my surprise, 2 of those things can come off that list. And one of the things that was on that list that this legislation is going to address is advocating for disadvantaged communities. This legislation is going to level the playing field for so many residents in Jersey City that are scared when they receive eviction notice, that are unjustly evicted from their apartments. And 2, we wanted to make sure that we stabilize taxes, and we didn't want to overburden taxpayers by implementing legislation that will constantly just overburden it for them. So for me, working on this legislation, I really found it in my heart to make sure that 1, we were advocating for everyday residents in Jersey City, and 2, as my name is Education with Gilmore, I wanted to make sure that in order for kids to go get their education, made sure they had somewhere to lay their head. So again, I want to thank the Right-to-Counsel Committee for working with us. It's not perfect, but it's a step in the right direction. And legislation like this is going to allow us to continuously to move Jersey City forward. So I'm thankful to be a part of this, and I thank everyone who was integral in making sure this comes to fruition.
Now, we were very grateful last night to have a unanimous vote of the City Council, and we are grateful for the support of Council President Joyce Waterman, Councilwoman Denise Ridley, Councilwoman Mira Prinzeri, and Councilman Rich Boggiano. But 2 council people were the ones who got us to the majority. Councilman Danny Rivera, who cannot be with you tonight, and Councilwoman Amy DeGise. And without her support, this would not have been possible. So I'd like to introduce Councilwoman Amy DeGise.
Thank you for being here today, and thank everyone for their contributions on this. This is an incredible step in the right direction for Jersey City in promoting housing equality and housing stability. It's also a statement to our commitment to providing comprehensive resources to all of our residents to give them the services that they need to feel welcome here and to stay here. We know that escalating rental costs in Jersey City are adversely affecting our residents all over in every neighborhood and ward. And this will focus on equity and justice in housing matters, but also promotes a really strong sense of community, which is very important to our culture here and something that we've built Jersey City on for decades. I'm so grateful to my council colleagues that framed this out and put this together, as well as the advocates and organizers that came out to show us how this has been done in other places and how we can frame it out here for our unique community. And we'll continue to roll it out and frame it out to make sure all residents are included. Being inclusive is also a part of housing stability for all residents, not just our vulnerable populations, but our hardworking middle-class populations that don't traditionally qualify for help like this, giving them consultation and resources, and small-time landlords who also have to navigate complexities of the tenant-landlord situations and relationships. So I'm very proud to be here. I'm so grateful for everyone who's contributed. Please share this information. We understand that mediation, education, and relief is what will stop evictions. So we need your help to build upon what we're doing here to keep that going throughout Jersey City and hopefully the rest of the state. Thank you for being here.
As is typical, us politicians like to talk, but I want to remind folks that this didn't start with us, the folks who are talking. It started with a community-based effort that has been working for over a year to bring housing justice to Jersey City. And we have one of the leaders of the Right-to-Counsel Jersey City Coalition, Jake Efros.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jake Efros. I'm an organizer with the Democratic Socialists of America, the DSA. I'm a tenant in Jersey City Heights. First, I do want to express my gratitude to our city government, from council to mayor, for such unanimous support of a tenant's right to counsel. Last night, our city heard the community's demand that tenants need more power to fight back, and they listened. Crucially, this has been a community demand. The campaign for Right to Counsel began just about a year ago, based on countless conversations that DSA organizers had with residents across our city, residents struggling to pay rent, struggling against unscrupulous landlords, and in an economy where wages have stagnated and corporate profits are skyrocketing, it's no wonder that 40% of Jersey City residents are cost burdened, paying almost a third or more of our income toward housing alone. And so all of these conversations helped inform DSA's decision last year to launch a campaign for Right to Counsel here in Jersey City. Of course, we did not want to take this on alone, so we formed the Right to Counsel Coalition, through which we have partnered with numerous community organizations, legal service providers, of course, our city council allies, and tenants associations like the Portside tenants who still to this day are fighting an illegal rent hike. And together we all have advanced a political consensus that housing is a human right, not just a tool of investment for the rich. So I ask everyone up here also to extend our gratitude to all the working people who made this possible, who made this political consensus a reality. Thanks to the scores of working people who have volunteered their weekends to knock on thousands of doors, who have volunteered their evenings to make thousands of phone calls, who did months of research, led by Sarah Levine right here, who donated some extra cash to fundraise, who came out in droves to our town halls and community meetings, who demonstrated in the streets, who spoke out at hours of city council meetings, and ultimately who declared that my well-being is inextricably linked to the well-being of every other renter and every other working person in Jersey City, so we're sticking together. So I'm really excited to continue to work with the community and our city and take further steps to enshrining housing as a human right. Thank you all.
And thank you, Jake. And then for our last two speakers, we have two wonderful people who do the work and lead the organizations that keep families in their homes. So I'd like to start with the Executive Director of the Waterfront Project, Carol St. Hilaire.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carol St. Hilaire. I am a Jersey City resident. I'm a Hudson County native. I'm a Jersey City homeowner, and I was raised in Section 8. And I am, because of that, most proud to be the Executive Director of the Waterfront Project. For the past decade, we have been providing free legal services and housing counseling services to Hudson County's most vulnerable constituents. I remember growing up, my parents had a Section 8 voucher in North Bergen, and that is what kept us housed. We needed the affordable housing. I now learned, after being a housing policy expert, that our landlord was taking $200 under the table from my father to stay housed. My mother was a seamstress. My father was on disability after a bad accident. I only wish the Waterfront Project and Right-to-Counsel existed back then, because we could have used those free services. So I want to thank my fellow advocates and the City Council for their tireless efforts in passing this ordinance. This is vital. Every day, my staff and I have countless conversations with so many people in need that are hopeless, that are going to lose their home, and they just need help. We see how Jersey City and its residents are grappling with the severe shortage of affordable housing, and we can't build our way out of this. We need to keep our neighbors housed. These families are on the brink of homelessness, a homeless system that is on the brink of collapse if we don't do anything. But by passing Right-to-Counsel, Jersey City has taken a proactive step towards mitigating this crisis. Despite what the opposing side says, in eviction cases, the power dynamics heavily favor the landlords. They almost always have representation. At most, about 3% of tenants have legal representation in tenant-landlord court. This leaves thousands of vulnerable tenants without the means to effectively assert their rights. At the Waterfront Project, we serve 2,000 households a year, most of which are Jersey City residents. And the census data shows that we are in a very distressing reality. Approximately 400,000 households across the state of New Jersey are behind on their rent. What we also know is that tenants that have access to legal counsel have a significantly higher chance of remaining in their homes or securing favorable outcomes. The free legal representation that the Waterfront Project provides leave tenants with the knowledge and confidence to navigate this complex legal system. It's crucial in ensuring fairness, equality, and justice for all residents of Jersey City. I am so proud to be standing here with everyone else for passing this ordinance. And if you know anyone who needs help, housing, counseling, legal assistance, please go to thewaterfrontproject.org. Again, thank you, James, and the other council members and the advocates. I am so proud to say that I am from Jersey City.
And last but not least, we have an incredible tenant advocate leading the We Care movement, Rochelle Hoffman-Myers. I got it wrong. Rochelle Myers Hoffman. You got it right?
That's right.
Okay, got it. There we go.
Well, my husband wants it to just be Hoffman. Well, what a wonderful, wonderful day it is. I was here last night. I was asked to speak. I've been advocating with the Right-to-Counsel for some time now. I am actually honored just to be standing here this afternoon. I want to give a warm, heartfelt thank you to the city, the mayor, the council members who sought the right to do 9-0, to actually stand up for what's right for the city and the residents and the tenants of Jersey City. Our organization, We Care Movement, we have spoken to countless tenants in different wards in this city. Currently, we're speaking to tenants in Lafayette Village. This vote right now, and I can tell you guys, is like bringing some warm soup to their tables because it's some soul food with this vote that we're going to bring them later this week to let them know that they are no longer intimidated, should be fearful to speak up and speak out. They have legal representation, they have support, they now can use their voices, they can actually defend themselves for the right to stay in their homes. As most of all the speakers touched on is actually keeping the community together. Homes are very important, regardless of the size of them. I grew up very not well off, but we struggled when I was a child, born and raised in Jersey City. But my mom and my grandmother made a home out of a one-bedroom. It was 12 of us, and it was a home for us. It showed stability, it showed character, it showed unity. Regardless of the size of the home, it matters. It matters to every tenant, regardless of their social, economical background. It matters. Housing matters. So I think the city, I think especially my thanks and honor for Jake and the rest of the Right-to-Counsel. to allow me to be part of this. When I first heard about the Right to Counsel, immediately I said I need to get on board because it's the right thing to do. And one of the posters that they always have up, like, why should you vote for Right to Counsel? And my thing is because it's the right thing to do. So I thank the city for allowing me this moment, and I'm so happy and excited, and I thank everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you all. That concludes the remarks.